snap.
Hey, welcome to the Review, a show where two small-town dudes give your big, dumb opinions. I am Troy to the Max Extreme.
I am JD3K.
And we are doing a flashback episode about a little movie. You might have heard of it. A little movie called Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah. We talked about its end. Let's talk about the beginning.
That's right.
The beginning of the end. The end is the beginning is the end.
Smashing
Pumpkins.
Billy Corrigan.
Second time we've referenced that in
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, so last week we went all on about Avengers Endgame is the hottest thing out.
Yes.
Probably still is the hottest thing out.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to go back and see what started that little spark of Endgame. And
Where were the donuts made?
Yeah, a little. Well, it's like a part one of the 2-part series.
Yeah. We did the part 2 before. Now we're doing the part 1.
That's right.
Yeah. You saw us take a number 2. Now we're doing the number 1.
We're doing number 1. So what do we got in store for this episode, JT?
Well, we got a special guest, of course.
Oh, of course.
Old GHD jumping in.
I'm
surprised he didn't jump in here for our last Endgame.
That's very true. We had a lot of takers.
But so you get his opinion. We get a lot of possible theories about Endgame. See what we thought about that. Were we correct?
Find out.
But all around fun. All of it just shooting the shit, trying to figure out what's all it about.
Sweet freaking deal, man. Can't wait to revisit this episode.
Oh yeah.
So hopefully everyone enjoys, and then we will see you at the end of Infinity War.
Yeah. See us on Thursday for our review of our Review Return Random Movies winner for 5.
That's right.
Platoon.
But before that, enjoy our review on Infinity War.
Yeah.
Follow up to our Endgame review in this flashback episode.
Starting right now.
So, JT, what happened in Infinity War?
Well, for the culmination of 10 years, the star of pretty much every single after credits scene, Thanos,
Yes.
appears, and he wants to capture all 6 Infinity Stones for his Infinity Gauntlet, which he will use to balance the universe by pretty much genociding half of the universe to pretty much bring balance to every planet and make sure that they use their resources respectively. And the Avengers are like, shit, nah.
Poppy. Yep, that's pretty much what happens.
Yeah. Well, that's like the non-spoiler.
Right.
A lot of shit happens in between there.
Yeah. I want to say, we've already been talking about it already, but this movie looks amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, CG. Oh, look out.
Oh, no. Thanos.
Thunderous. Shit. Look out. Thanos is right over there.
He's got his bedazzled glove.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, this movie looks amazing. Because, like, I was going in after Black Panther, where there's a lot of talk about, like, how the CG wasn't really all up to snuff with other Marvel films.
Was that really a big complaint? You mentioned it to me on our show, and I never
that was, like,
took
one
that
of the
away from it.
Only complaints, really, that I did see of Black Panther is, like, movie's great, but, like, maybe the CG wasn't up to snuff with compared to, like, some other stuff. And, like, I kind of thought that, because near, like, the end where they're fighting and they're just falling down that chasm, they look kind of, like, rubbery a little bit.
Yeah, I just chalked that up to big hordes smashing into each other. I kind of just zone out during those parts anyway.
Yeah, they look kind of weightless to me.
Yeah, and maybe it was, like, the director's just vision, because, like, anytime, like, the Russos do something, like, when they did Winter Soldier and Civil War, like, I never got, like, a weightlessness of anyone just, like, floating around and doing anything.
I think the
like
Russos
that.
are just really good at filming action. Like that's their main go-to.
And Winter Soldier and Civil War is pretty much like actual guys on set fighting each other, and it's like hand-to-hand stuff. This is the first time they've done anything like heavily computer generated in terms of their fights, right?
Yeah, well,
I mean, they have the airport fight.
Things.
Yeah, but I mean, Winter Soldier had some of the best fighting, and it's all like that up close, like parkour type of fighting.
Yeah. But that knife fight from Winter Soldier with him and Captain America fighting, like on that street or whatever, still probably one of the best hand-to-hand fights I've seen in almost any movie. It's really freaking good.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I was going to say, I can't think of any fight that felt like is, realistic and up close as that, but, this was basically like a whole movie of the airport fight from Civil War.
Almost. Like, the movie is nonstop action. There's, like, very little downtime.
Well, it's a war movie.
Yeah.
Like, and it's Infinity War. It's pretty much a war movie.
But even, like, in Civil War, like, it still had downbeats where it played, like, emotional aspects. And all
I wouldn't say Civil War is, like, a war movie. The Civil War was just mainly basing on the fact that there's tension between people of the same group.
Yeah.
This is like, no, it's a war. A war is being fought.
Right. And as, like... The end of Man of Steel is like an hour-long fight scene, which kind of it feels tedious near the end.
Yeah.
But like for this being pretty close to 3 hours long, and have it be action-packed almost the whole way through, and I was never like exhausted by it, it was a pretty tall order and very well done by the Russos.
Well, they had so many different characters and environments that they could, switch back and forth between. Like Man of Steel got tired because it was just Kryptonian fighting Kryptonian.
Yeah.
And there's like 3 people fighting to choose from. This one, there's like 70 characters, and some were on Earth, somewhere in space, somewhere in a ship, it was all over the place. By the time you got sick of one, you had a completely different landscape and fighting scenario to watch.
Yeah.
So that helped.
Yeah.
And all these characters have a completely different fighting style that kind of goes along with their personality.
Yeah.
And being able to see them kind of play off each other for the first time was great.
Yeah.
You got like team ups with people that have never met each other before in any of the 18 previous movies.
Yeah.
So that was excellent. It was kind of like the last season of Game of Thrones when you finally get like Tyrion and
it's a lot like that.
Yeah, the Mother of Dragons in the same room where you're like, my God, these are my favorite characters, and I just realized they've never met before. And it's also like Thrones, where it seems like every season has been leading to this, where it's like, okay, we've gone through all the setup. Here's your payoff. Here's 3 hours of a fight.
That's the big thing that this movie has to its advantage is that it has legit 10 years of history that it just, I think it uses to its full potential all the way through.
Oh yeah, it's like having your cake and eating it too.
Yes. We were talking like, those stupid reviews that are saying like, oh, there's no character development. It's like, how pissed would you be if they spent the first hour of this movie telling you who all these characters were again?
Yeah. It's like, we know all this.
Yeah.
Get on with it.
But no, to play off your analogy, Troy, I think the last 10 years was staring at the cake, and then this movie was, okay, now you can eat it.
And then you also get the fuck
I was just going to say, hell, you can fuck that cake.
Fuck it. Yeah.
Blow out the candles first.
Yeah. Eat the cake while you're fucking it.
But yeah, anyway, this movie looks great. Thanos looks amazing in this. There's up-close shots of him that are like
Christ.
so good.
He emotes.
Very
My
good.
lord,
Very
does he
good.
emote in this?
Yeah.
He looks like just as good as the human characters.
Oh, yeah.
The actual actors.
And he has to, because there's so many things where they have to make it where it's like, yeah, you need to feel this way about him.
Oh, yeah. I would say that Thanos is like the main character of this movie.
Yeah.
I would almost say Thanos is the protagonist of this movie.
I would not say that. I can see where you're coming from.
I would say he probably has more combined screen time than any one other character in this.
I would agree with that.
Because he kind of fights everybody, or he hops around a lot and meets all of them. But yeah, I mean, like, this is his movie.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't work, then it kind of falls apart.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
compare him to Steppenwolf from Justice League.
Right.
And it's like Justice League, he's just a CGI villain that they kind of don't want to show all the time because it doesn't look the greatest.
Yeah. Right.
This, like, they show him front and center in all different...
Well, I was going to say full frontal.
Full frontal.
Show his little ball sacky chin
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah, well lit, everything. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he might as well have just been an actor.
Yeah. There's like just getting up close and seeing it in HD is like you see like little bits of stubble on him. Like,
can you imagine shaving that bumpy chin?
just cutting yourself
Oh my
all up.
god.
And then like even like things that you could see it in the trailer where there's like he walks through like a portal and like just a small squint that he does while he's like surveying the area.
He walks
like,
through so many portals in
I
this.
know. Or like there's like times where he gets like worked up and you can see like his jaw clenched in his like muscles and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the eyes especially. Like the eyes were totally Josh Brolin, and I think that was one of the things that really sold it.
Right.
I mean, it's just like, oh my god.
And I didn't hear
I had to keep reminding myself that it wasn't like Josh Brolin in makeup.
like I didn't hear anything on the production of this like that Josh Brolin did any like real motion capture, but he would have had to, right?
I'm sure he
to
did.
get all
Yeah.
this kind of fine-tuned stuff.
Sure, he had the
it
dots.
is his face. Like they get up close and personal in him, and he's like, that is Josh Brolin's face.
Yeah.
But not to beat on Justice League any more than we have before, but this feels a lot like Justice League and this movie kind of feel a lot like when movies would come out where like the cheaper version would come out before like the real movie would announce itself, and then like a cheaper version would be like, oh shit, let's take their idea and let's put our movie out real quick and we'll get all the money.
Yeah, real like Transformers, Transmorphers.
Yes,
situation.
that's exactly what I was going to say.
Because it's pretty much, it's almost, like you think about it, it's kind of the same plot where it's like,
it is.
like a being comes down from space and captures multiple MacGuffins to end the world.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty much what this is too, but it's just like, it's like Justice League was like, let's rush into production and get it out right away so that way people will be like, oh my god, this movie totally stole from Justice League.
Right.
But then it's like, yeah, but this movie's way fucking better.
And by rush Justice League, you mean take forever to get out anyway.
And then make it again.
Yeah.
But yeah, they really are very similar movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's night and day how like better one is over the other.
Oh
but,
yeah.
like,
And the funny thing is this one, the good one, the Marvel one, is like non-stop action, and you would think like, oh, the just non-stop action one would be the lesser,
Right.
Because it doesn't have anything to say.
Yeah.
But it says more in like these quiet little beats between the action, than Justice League says over the entire running time.
Yeah.
And again, that's because it's been 10 years that like you've been around these characters long enough where it's like they could legit say nothing and you know exactly what they're saying in that moment because you have spent either 3 or 4 movies with one of them and then 2 movies with the other one.
Yeah. So suck it, New Yorker.
Yeah, there was one moment of this that really comes to mind when you said that, where Tony Stark says to Peter Parker, like, kind of spoiler, he says, like, okay, you're an Avenger now. And then walks away, and it lingers on Peter as he kind of smiles and then, like, thinks about it and kind of takes it in, and then he smiles again. He's, like, very proud.
Yeah.
And previously, it seems like in the typical Marvel movie, they would kill that with like a joke where like maybe Tony Stark would ruin his moment and be like, come on, kid, come on, get your head out of the clouds or something.
Yeah.
Or like they would just kind of play it off and kill that moment, but they didn't. They let it play out where it's like, he's proud. Like Peter has a moment. He made it. He's an Avenger.
Yeah.
And they didn't kill it with a joke.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like, oh yeah, but you know, it's kind of lame. Let's laugh at it. They just like let him have it. And it's like great. That is what has been missing from some of them, where they don't just let him have these heroic moments without like killing it with a joke.
Yeah, there was a lot less of those. There were still some in this movie, a little bit of those.
Yeah.
And some of it was okay, and some of it I was like, yeah, it didn't work, but let's go on.
I thought some of the Guardians and Thor moments were a little too forced in the humor.
Yeah, a little
where
bit.
It just like went on too long. It's like, okay, I get it. They're trying to do like the Guardians jokiness to it, but like this is not the movie to be joking around in. It felt very out of place.
I thought I didn't mind it so much because I feel like out of everyone, the Guardians would be the ones that do not know the scope of what's going on. And usually, like, right around the time when they're joking the most is when they just pick up Thor. Not spoiling. When they just
in the
pick
trailer.
up, it's in the trailer when they just pick up Thor, and then they're like, that's when like they're doing their most joking, where it's like, okay, we picked up this guy in the middle of space, don't know what happened.
Well,
all
really,
right,
yeah, they're really just going on with what they're doing.
Yeah,
like
because the Guardians have never really been like that serious of a group entirely, and then especially like in this, where like even when like it comes down to, okay, here's the mission we have to do, they're still kind of like they're fuck ups. Like the Guardians are fuck ups.
Oh yeah. Is
like
one of them really fucks up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We'll talk. Yeah, we'll talk. Yeah.
I did love too the moment where Thor and Rocket are kind of sitting there heading into their journey, and like Thor and Rocket are talking back and forth, and it's like Thor's finally realizing how screwed up his situation is, and it's just like all hitting him at once, and you just see his confidence just drain.
No,
that was really good.
I'll talk about that during spoilers to get more into it later, but yeah, but that's one of my favorite scenes, because I think Thor is probably one of my favorite characters in this whole movie.
Mine too. Yeah.
Like,
what a surprise!
I know, right?
Because I think like what they did with Thor in Thor Ragnarok, the Russos took and made it sad in a way. Where it's like, oh shit, I've been laughing at this.
Oh shit.
Yeah, but they did it in a way where it still makes sense, because there are people that deal with situations like that through comedy, and it feels like that's kind of what Thor, how Thor's manifested this like persona that he has now.
Yeah, we can double back to Thor. I'm gonna make a note to double back to Thor.
Double back.
Should we do some quick hits before we get into spoiler territory, or how do you want to handle it?
We can pretty much go into spoilers right now, because anything I have now is just like
the whole movie. To discuss it is pretty much spoilers, because you're just telling things that happen.
Yeah, like I said, the first scene is a fucking spoiler.
I was surprised we got this far without spoiling much of it.
I know. There's a few times where like I start talking, and then I'm like, so yeah,
they go to a place
and they do a thing.
Yeah.
How have we been talking for 40 minutes?
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, from here on out, spoilers. You've probably seen it already anyway, because it's made almost $1 billion.
Yeah. Just go see it, because it's the biggest fucking thing this year.
Oh yeah, this year for sure. So yeah, anyway, let's while we're on Thor, let's just talk about Thor.
Yeah, like I love Thor in this just because that whole scene you're talking about, where like this feels like the first time he's actually had a chance to sit down and examine his life and like what's happened up to this point, where like he went from being like kind of like the spoiled rich kid from the first one that had everything handed to him, that he had to be knocked down a peg by his dad, to now having lost everything. And in between there, like it felt like Thor Ragnarok was kind of like him trying to deal with that by not taking anything seriously. Like, and there's plenty of people that do that. Like they just kind of like joke to kind of hide like how empty they feel because their entire family is gone.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what Thor felt like in this.
Yeah, in his bravado, and he's like not worried about anything, because he's like, well, I'm still here, so I guess it'll work out. And it's like, yeah, but everyone around you is dead.
Yeah.
He's like, well, he hasn't. Thanos is tough, but he hasn't fought me before. And he's like, yeah, he did, and he beat you.
Yeah.
He hasn't beaten me twice, or whatever it is. He hasn't fought me twice.
Yeah. But no, like, Thor felt like a really sad character. But, and it, like, as much as, like, as sad as that is, it made all the comedy in Ragnarok make sense. That he would go from being, like, this very stoic character to now he's breaking down into, like, this character that cannot take anything seriously, because if he does, then all the reality of how sad his life is going to set in.
Yeah. I liked what they did with Thor in this, because like the first two, he's kind of Shakespearean and rather stoic, and like has like a bit of a sense of humor because he's like a man like out of his element. And then they kind of
he's like a Gaston.
No one.
Then they overcorrect in Ragnarok, not to its detriment, but because it makes it fun. They changed it up to make it like Thor more appealing or whatever. They Guardians him up a little bit.
Yeah.
But then I think they dial it back a little bit in this, where he still has a little bit of that, and he's still like stoic in this, where it like the mesh of it I really like.
Yeah.
Where like he has some really powerful, serious moments, but he can still have a little bit of levity because he's like, yeah, all this shit's going on, and he's kind of laughing while he says it. But then you see like the sadness in his eyes while he's doing it, and you're like, oh shit. But then he fucking has like the best part of the movie where like he fucking makes his Stormbreaker hammer, which is like a whole thing, and like crashes down to back to Earth, and that's like the point where I just nut and was like, oh my god, this is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was waiting for him to play fucking dun 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 dun.
I
dun. I was like waiting for it again.
But yeah, that was one of probably my favorite part of the movie, where I wanted to like stand up and cheer when Thor came back to Earth, which was really awesome.
And not alone, he comes back with Groot and Rocket, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't Groot say, I am Groot, and Captain America turns and says, I'm Steve
Rogers.
Yes, that's good too.
Yeah. Also, like when Rocket gets down, it's that whole fight sequence that they join, and Winter Soldier picks him up, and he's just holding him on one side while he's shooting a machine gun on the other side, just spinning around.
Perfect.
I'm like, this is fucking great.
Yeah.
And Rocket wants that arm.
Let me get that arm.
I'm gonna get that arm.
I didn't realize I mean, it was a running joke in like all of these movies that he just likes to take these little prosthetics
things.
But like, I didn't really get it until this movie. He's like, oh yeah, he loves doing that, right?
Yeah.
He's gonna get that. I don't want him to get that arm now.
He even tricked who did he trick to take someone's leg in the first one?
Star-Lord.
Yeah, he tricked Star-Lord into taking someone's leg. He's like, what do you need the leg for? I just wanted it.
It's like, oh, you actually did that? I was joking.
Yeah. So that was really good. Thor is great. I'll check that off my list.
Yep. And I love that his new hammer has Groot's arm as a handle.
Oh yeah,
That's
ties everything
fantastic.
all up. Yeah.
We were laughing at it on our show, like as they're forging the new hammer, and then Peter Dinklage is like, "Oh wait, I don't have the handle." It's like, what were you doing? Like, how many of these things have you made? You don't have the handle ready?
It was a pretty strenuous situation where it's like, oh yeah, so my hands are gone, and
yeah, but like he got all the things ready, and then he's just like, oh shit, yeah, hammer would need a handle. And he's like doing the thing where he's like running in place or some shit.
Hey, you've been in situations. You've been in situations where it's like, oh shit, the star's not working. Oh, we better start the star and fuck the handle.
Yeah, but Peter Dinklage isn't doing anything. He's just watching it all happen.
Motherfucker has no hands.
Well, he's got hands. He's just permanent fists.
They're burned.
He's just got his burns.
Accident in the bronzing process.
So let's talk about Peter Dinklage for a minute.
Yeah.
Because I loved that he was still a dwarf in this, but he towered
bigger
over
than everybody. Yes.
But I thought his acting was kind of shit in this.
I mean, it was kind of whatever role. Like I didn't.
There's a few line deliveries that he had. I'm like, oh, you went with that take? Well, let's just move on.
I don't know.
It was.
It didn't stick out to me as like, oh my god, that's terrible.
It did to me. I don't know, but I don't watch him in Game of Thrones. Is he about the same in Game of Thrones?
From Thrones, you would think he's a great actor, but I've heard people have issues with him. They don't think he's all that good.
Well, in this, I just felt like it was like way hokier than what was going on.
What's a hokey situation? It's a giant dwarf that's making a hammer out of a dying star.
Oh, that's pretty sweet, though.
It was very cool. Yeah. No, I liked that little side quest.
Mm-hmm.
Thor always gets wrapped up in these little side quests. It's like he's so powerful, they have to just like get him off the board.
Yeah.
And most of the time, you could just like cut that out entirely.
Yeah.
Like that was one of the weakest parts of Age of Ultron. Is all Thor
then that
shit.
one made no sense. I need to go sit in a puddle.
Which had like no payoff because that isn't even close to what happened in Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Right.
But this one, I didn't mind it. Like, it could have been trimmed down, and the movie would have been leaner for it. But I don't know. I liked it. I liked the image of him like opening up that big like star core or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that was great.
Yeah, it's cool as hell.
And I liked it because it shows like the shit he went through to get it. Like he's that determined to avenge his Asgard that he's willing to like take the full brunt of a star.
Yeah, he's not just this privileged Superman. Like that took a toll on him. Like they almost killed him.
Yeah.
This movie made him look powerful as fuck. And I think like at this point, like he could just clear the fucking clock out of the Hulk.
Like, since we're in spoilers, like I'll just say right now that I love how the movie bookends itself, where it's like you see Thor at his absolute lowest, and then you see Thor at his absolute highest before the shit hits the fan.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I like how like it kind of comes down to like Thor is the only person that like stands up to Thanos in like the best way possible.
Mm-hmm. Captain America puts up a pretty good fight there too.
Oh yeah,
getting socked in the jaw.
Hell yeah, he held that glove for a good while.
Yeah. I mean he's only mortal, but hell of a.
Captain America's really good in this too, because when he's introduced, like it's kind of spoiled from one of the trailers. It's like, oh, because if you didn't see that, you'd be like, who's the guy in the shadow? I guess, but then it's right in the trailer already.
I also love how he's wearing like the Captain America suit, where like it looks like it hasn't been washed in like 5 years.
Looks like he permanent markered out the star.
Not America.
And like, while everybody else has like this armor or indestructible, he's just wearing like maybe a Kevlar suit, and he's got like the sleeves rolled up, and he's like, all right, well, I'm just gonna get at it, I guess, and just punch some of these scumbags.
Black Panther, should we run across the entire field here? Get out ahead of everybody.
And he never changes, where it's like, so do you shower with that on, or
so like when Captain America was introduced when they were in Scotland, right?
Yeah. With
him
Witch and Vision.
And then they call in, or I guess Bruce called in reinforcements to go find the Vision, and then Captain America shows up with Black Widow. I almost said just Scarlet Witch, but she is. It's too many Scarlets in this movie, and Benedicts. There's too many of those in there too. And then the Falcon, when they show up and just start beating up Proxima Midnight and Corvus Glaive. Who they never
don't
name.
Even ask me what these fucking names
they
are.
Don't name them.
They don't name them. The only one they say, I'm pretty sure, is Maw.
Yeah.
And he's like the space
and I don't even think he says. Yeah, I don't think he says Ebony either. He just calls him Maw.
Yeah, Maw. Yeah. But anyway, that fight scene was really great, and that was like another like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, they're fighting and they're kicking ass. I love it. Yeah, it was really great.
Doubling back to like our Avengers talk, like my big gripe about Avengers was that like the big battle at the end, it felt like there was no stakes. Every battle in this felt like there were stakes, because it was like everything, like even like the henchmen felt like they were putting up a hell of a fight against like multiple Avengers, where it's like shit. If you're like the henchman, then Thanos is gonna fuck all of you up.
Yeah.
And the fact that like fans know people are gonna die in this.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, oh god, is this one of them? Like at any moment, like someone could go.
Yeah.
Like the movie opens with one of the long-standing characters dying. Loki gets killed in the opening scene.
Yeah.
So it's
and
like
Heimdall gets killed.
Yeah. And half of Asgard.
All of Asgard.
Well, don't they say like there was. Thanos says something like he's killed half of them.
Yeah, I thought that was like that too. But...
I'm thinking like a ship took off.
Yeah, because they said Valkyrie.
Yeah,
I guess I heard like a thing where they said
Korg.
Valkyrie, like someone assured like, oh, Valkyrie's still alive. Don't worry.
I hope so, because I didn't really get it from the movie. I was just hoping that Valkyrie and Korg didn't just like die off screen. And Meek, yeah.
I'm sure they're gonna pop up.
I would
somewhere.
hope so.
You know, her showing up and then those two again, like that's great.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah, but like right off the bat, you're like, okay, people are going.
Yeah,
you know, at any moment, like I guess this could be it. This could be it.
Yeah.
I like that because
it made it.
Like it sets like the precedent for like the rest of the movie, kind of like how like it does it, and like
Scream.
Yeah, where it's just like where like it sets up where it's like we're gonna kill people. Don't worry, people are dying.
Don't you worry about
Don't worry.
We're gonna be killing
We're gonna be killing lots of people. And
I also
it could happen at any time.
I also like it right off the bat. It shows like how formidable Thanos is by just fucking whooping the shit out of the Hulk.
Yeah.
Just like coming after
and it was done in a cool way. Yeah, and it was done in a cool way too, where he's not like matching Hulk's power. He's just faster and also powerful enough where like if he lands a blow on Hulk, it's gonna be effective.
He's like trained, Yeah. Hulk is just like clobbering, you know, and Thanos is like going for the neck,
smashing. There's already a guy that's the clobbering.
Leave the clobbering to the guy that can't get a movie together.
Like how I brought up where like I love how like they portray the Hulk in this, where it's like he seems like whenever he's outside of Bruce Banner is when he ages, and that's why he starts developing speech in Thor Ragnarok. Like. It's pretty much like Thanos is beating up like a really strong 5-year-old.
Oh yeah, and now he doesn't want to come out.
And now he doesn't want to come out anymore because like
PTSD.
Yeah, and I like that too because like the whole thing of like Bruce Banner being such an introvert that he lets the Hulk out. Now the Hulk is such an introvert that only Bruce Banner's out.
Do you think since this movie essentially he's Bruce Banner for the whole thing, he can't turn into Hulk?
Yeah.
Do you think if they in the next one, if they do weird time manipulation, if we're going to get a future where it's Hulk aged to the point where he's now intelligent and like Bruce Banner might be dead, but like the Hulk is still existing and like, as normal intelligent as Bruce Banner was, that'd be kind of cool.
Maybe.
We're like if Bruce Banner dies and it's like, oh no. And then the Hulk comes out of Bruce Banner.
Like rips out of him like a chest burster.
no, but like if like because they feed off each other with Bruce Banner being gone, then all that's left is the Hulk.
Yeah, I thought about that too. Like because like the ending of this movie, like Thanos gets his wish or whatever. Not to jump to the end or anything like
Jesus
that.
Christ,
no, let's wrap it up. I should be getting
but
home.
as we're
Thanos wins the end. All right.
Well, while we're on it, while he's like wiping out half the universe or whatever. Like, if one of the other didn't make it, like if Bruce Banner or the Hulk didn't make it, like one of them is still living. That'd be kind of cool, I thought.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry I jumped to the end.
Let's go back to the beginning.
Fuck me, right?
Fuck me. Fucking idiot Troy fucking things up. Troy Thuck.
Troy Thuck. I'm glad Loki's out of here. Like, I've said this for a while. I've been done with Loki. Yeah. And the last, like, Ragnarok, it's fine. Like, he's good there, but then they just keep falling back into that trope where it's like, is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Is he going to double cross or not?
Yeah.
And the way they left it on Ragnarok, where like, nope, I'm finally here, brother. We're going to make it together. I was like, oh, he's fucking dead. He's done. He just signed his death warrant there.
Yeah.
And in the trailers, they showed him like holding the cube. So I was like, oh shit, maybe he has like a bigger role in this. But then watching this, he instantly, like in the first scene, he holds the cube, and I was like, oh no, he's dead.
Yeah.
That's the scene from the trailer. There's nothing else. He's done.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The trailers did a good job of doing a lot of misdirects, though, in this.
Yeah.
Like that throwing Hulk in that big running scene.
Yeah.
And they only show the blue and the purple stone in his gauntlet at all times.
Yeah.
Like they don't show like the progression of how many that he always gets.
Yeah. Because at that one where he's like cranking his fist or whatever, I think he's got like 4 of them at that point.
I think he has all of them. Yeah, all except 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine. Go ahead. Do that. Like, throw people off.
See, I like that they do it in this, but when they did a bunch, like, maybe it's hypocritical, but I think it's different. So when, like, Rogue One had a bunch of shots that weren't in the movie, like, I thought that wasn't the same as this.
No, because that was shit that
they... Yeah, but they rewrote Rogue One, too.
I know that, but, like... for them to purposely shoot scenes that weren't in the movie isn't the same as like not having spoilers trying to come out.
No, that's like a bait and switch because you want to see that scene and it's non-existent in the movie. The scene is still there, but it's tweaked so you couldn't guess it, you know, or you're not sure what the stakes are.
Yeah. Like in Black Panther, like there's like a scene where like they disguise it where it looks like T'Challa, but it's actually Killmonger that goes to the throne.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, that was really good. Hope they keep doing that, I guess.
Yeah, along the same lines as this. Like they don't get too crazy.
There was like just one little Easter egg that I don't know where to throw this in, but I'll just throw it in right now. So the Russo brothers like directed a lot of episodes of like TV shows like Community, and they also did like Arrested Development.
Yeah.
Apparently there is like a shot of Tobias in all Blue Man Group makeup in this movie.
Yeah.
In the Collector's Palace.
Yeah, in the Collector, in
like one of the tubes.
Yeah. Shit. Yeah. In the end credits, it said Arrested Development footage courtesy of, and I was like, where was that?
Yeah, I saw that too, and I'm like, maybe it was just on a TV somewhere. But no,
That's
apparently
funny.
he's just full on like Howard the Duck in one of those tubes.
Yeah.
And it's like a blink and you miss it thing, and I didn't see it at
I
all.
was even looking
Yeah,
too when
I
we were
didn't
in there
see
because
it
I'm like,
either,
because during Guardians, it's like they were just throwing anything in. They didn't know what.
yeah.
At this point, like they know where they're going. So
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, what are they hinting at? And I couldn't make sense out of it.
Because I guess they put the Bluth stair car in Civil War.
Yeah, it was at the airport.
Yeah, at the airport.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. The only reason I even know it because somebody was like, "Here's a screenshot of Tobias in the tube," and he's just laying down in his little jean shorts, all painted all blue. Like that is amazing. I love it. So, was there anything you didn't so much like about this movie? Because the only thing I can really think of the only complaint that I would have, I guess, is that while everyone is broken up, you don't get a lot of time with everybody, and it does jump around quite a bit because it has to fit a lot in. It's not a huge detriment to it, but there's some scenes I wish that could go on a bit longer and let it breathe a little bit more. But that would be pretty much the only thing, other than like sometimes I think the CG on Iron Man and even like Spider-Man in his spider armor look not as good as like the rest of the movie.
I never really caught on to like the CG or whatever. Like, to be honest, for me personally, I think this is my favorite Marvel film so far.
Yeah, I mean it's up
because it feels like even when you say that it seems like you don't get a lot of time with everybody. Like the time you do get with people, like you connect with it because you've been with them up to this point where like the things that they do not feel like waste. Like I feel like for this being 2.5 hours, it feels like it's weird to say, but it's like for being a 2.5 hour long movie, it's a very lean movie where like there's not a lot of stuff in here where I'm like, they don't waste a lot of time.
I actually could have taken probably 20 minutes more of this movie.
Yeah.
And it would have been pretty okay.
Like
with
even
it.
like when you say like the whole thing of him getting Stormbreaker was like kind of a side quest. It was like, yeah, but it was like a side quest that really paid off when he actually comes back down to Earth and fucking whoops ass.
Yeah.
Because you know what he went through to get that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There were a few characters that were a little bit shortchanged. Like Captain America doesn't have as much screen time in this, and like Black Panther doesn't really have a lot to do in this either.
Yeah.
But granted, Black Panther just had an entire movie just come out earlier this year, and Captain America probably has a bigger role in the next movie, I would assume.
Yeah.
But I mean, other than that, they still had like great scenes in this.
Yeah.
Everyone had their like moment of shine in it.
Oh, yeah.
Which I was still surprised with
For
like
sure.
70,000 characters in this movie. Everyone had like their moment.
Yeah, even like War Machine
Yeah.
had like
When he carpet bombed that whole thing, I was like, holy shit, that's
I know,
fucking
it's like,
awesome.
just have him do that like 3 or 4 more times and you're done. Yeah.
Like even the Battle of Wakanda, like I heard like a complaint where it's like, oh, it's just another battle between the Avengers and a bunch of faceless enemies, but it's like
This was different though.
These ones felt like way more ravenous, like especially like the battle that they had with them, like they got really in like way up close and in depth with them, where like they felt more like creatures that wanted to rip you apart, where like in Avengers, like they were just kind of like, we're just gonna fire randomly and then like move really slowly and kind of towards you so you can do cool moves around us. Like these were like savages that just wanted to eat you.
Yeah.
And that fight scene was interspersed with the characters fighting Thanos.
Yeah.
So that helped. It's like we get the big epic scale fight and then we get the close combat more epic fight with Thanos.
Yeah.
And you had like the 2 generals in that fight too. So amidst all like
bosses.
the pawns, you had like Proxima Midnight and I guess like 3 of them they're fighting the main characters.
Yeah.
So there was enough, like, you know, there's the large scale fight and then the smaller one and then the big king fight. You know.
Yeah. And whereas like these like alien creatures in this, I feel like they're like better done. Like even though it is like another horde of like clones or whatever of like the same shit.
Yeah.
Like I didn't mind the Chitauri as much in Avengers until like they just all die because their headquarters are all like it was blown up.
Yeah.
And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. And like, I guess it made more sense for it happened to robots in Age of Ultron, but still, it's just like faceless drones.
Yeah.
It is a little unfortunate that all 3 Avengers movies end with fighting a horde of identical enemies.
Yeah.
But it's distracting in this, where it's just like, this is just like a wall of things that like are just ravenous and trying to tear you apart, and then there's that mini boss fight, and there's a boss battle going on somewhere else.
And ultimately, in this, it's unimportant. Like that is not the big fight of the movie.
Right.
It's just a chance to kind of see Wakanda fight, and then they go on to Thanos.
Yeah. But with the Chitauri and Ultron, like they both didn't really seem like they were like as in your face as like the as like the like even like those like whatever they were, like those like 4-armed like alien type things, like they were
name,
like,
but I don't remember what it is.
Yeah,
No,
like they were like ripping
one of them in the comic, right?
I thought there was more of them. I thought not as many as in the movie, but I thought there was more. Anyway,
but like they were like ripping through like that force field, like they were like you could see like the visible burns on them ripping through it, like they felt like
rabid dogs.
Yeah, like you can't see like the Chitauri or like Ultron doing that, where it's like Jesus fucking Christ, like these things are like these things like mean business.
Yeah.
So like it made him seem more formidable, and then when they did go like hand-to-hand combat with him, it felt like they were just nonstop moving, just trying to kill you. Like I felt a lot more of a danger when they were fighting them as opposed to like Chitauri or Ultron, where it's like very far back, like firing weird lasers and then like making really big moves so that you can, so like Black Widow can do her fucking head Hurricane Rana head scissors thing to something like. Yeah, it felt like an actual war, like an actual battle in a war.
It was interesting that none of Thanos' forces had any like projectiles. And isn't Wakanda like full of projectiles? Like, couldn't they have just like set up a turret and mowed them down?
You would think so, right?
But like they charge them, you know, like a Civil War type of environment. It's like they're just animals. Like if
it's a
like,
cool visual.
It is a very cool visual. But like if a pack of hyenas were running in, like you wouldn't go and fight it with a spear. Like you just shoot it. Like, well, what's the point?
Yeah, I did like M'Baku and T'Challa like revving up the whole guard and everything like that.
M'Baku's great.
Yeah, and they're just like chanting and getting all ready to go, and then they're like, "All right, open the gate," and then they're just like, boom, and they're off, and then like the whole group is running, and then just like Black Panther and Captain America are just
right
like,
in front,
fucking sprinting ahead of them.
Yeah,
like, fuck yeah,
yeah, like they're the generals. They're not gonna let anyone take anything that they can't take themselves.
Yeah,
and because they're the fastest, they're gonna be the ones that jump right into the shit.
Yeah,
Marvel's running effect is perfect.
It's
like,
so good.
They're like the only studio that has made a good, believable looking running effect. Like everyone else just speeds it up, and it looks ridiculous.
Yeah,
but even in the first Incredible Hulk movie, when Tim Roth is like doing these huge gates, and they filmed it practically, they had him like on a wire and they were pulling him. And since then, like Captain America, they've always had his like run, this great looking like. It looks like a guy's really doing it.
I know. It looks so good. Because I was going to bring up, they did it with, like, in the Incredible Hulk movie, too.
Yeah.
And I thought it looked crappier than it is. But it was just on TV at my mom and dad's house when I went to pick Macy up once. And I showed that scene. I'm like, oh, that looks good as fuck.
Yeah.
Like it looks like he's really just sprinting ahead of everybody.
Yep.
That looks good as hell. Let's see, what else do I got? So Doctor Strange is really great in this, right?
Yeah, he's finally getting to do his
more Doctor Strange than his own movie.
Yeah.
There was another review that I was listening to that said, like, if they introduce anybody else, like any other superhero, just do it in a group movie. Don't have them be on their own, because anytime they're in a group movie, they do cooler stuff they do in their own movie.
Oh, yeah. And then give them their own movie after. Now that they've, like, mastered their abilities.
Yeah.
Like, I've been hearing that they have no plans for Doctor Strange 2, and that's, like, the one that I would love to see now. I want to see more weird shit out of Doctor Strange.
I thought they had one scheduled after, like, the last Avengers movie comes out.
Oh, do they, maybe?
I thought Cumberbatch was, like, blocked for a few more movies.
I don't know, though, because I think Doctor Strange works well with other people because he seems like he's so far away from humanity that it'd be hard to kind of connect with him if he had his own movie.
Have him just be like another buddy movie. Have him like team up with
sure,
Spider-Man.
Anything. Yeah,
like an adventure, like Peter.
A Doctor Strange Spider-Man movie would be insane. Just like a teenager and like a weird old guy that just like
Hulk.
does magic.
Like Hulk just keeps being the team up guy. Like how Hulk crashed through his window. Which was a Silver Surfer role in Infinity Gauntlet. He does the exact same thing. He says Thanos is coming.
Yeah. It's really good. Yeah, just have it be the Hulk, and just have Hulk not have another solo movie again, because Universal still has some weird tied-up rights to him. Just keep teaming up with everybody. That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
And if Fox ever does get purchased by Disney, like have a Silver Surfer, like Hulk, Doctor Strange movie so they can be the Defenders or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be fucking sweet.
Yeah.
Well, they can't be the Defenders now, because I guess Netflix has that shit.
But no, okay, if you're doing another Strange movie, put someone else in it with him to kind of bounce off of. But, you know, do it like they did with Thor. You know, just give like a extended cameo to another character.
Yeah.
Because think of all the cool shit you could do with Doctor Strange.
I mean,
like the best moments of Doctor Strange, and just make that a whole movie.
Yeah. I was actually waiting because, like, in we read all of Jonathan Hickman's run for an Imperious Rex block of episodes.
Yeah,
and Doctor Strange was pretty great in that. And I was waiting for like him to have like a big, huge, grand thing. Like he's pretty important in this because he holds a time stone. But like in Hickman's run, he like sells his soul to get like this big dark magic, where it just has like Cthulhu come out and just fucking rape fucking everybody or whatever, and I was like, that'd be fucking sweet.
And leading up to that, as he's trying to sell his soul, the devil or whoever he's doing it to is like, you don't have enough to give. Like over the time, Doctor Strange has done so many like weird mystical dealings that he doesn't even have like a full soul anymore. So I guess maybe that would have to come later on.
Right. Because I guess he's still pretty green in this too. Because even Ebony Maw is just like, you're like just a party magician at this point. So, but anyway, he was really great in this. He did the Crimson Bolts of Balthazar or whatever in this, and
the
Crimson Bands of
the
Catharak or whatever it is.
Yep,
some nerd shit. He did a lot of it in this. Still didn't have his.
This is where I check out.
Still didn't have his dishwashing gloves, but you can't wish for everything. I guess.
I did like that. At one point, he loses his gloves, and he still has like the scars on his hands too. I love that they keep making that very apparent from his surgery.
But yeah, this was really good, and it makes me wonder. Like, so Doctor Strange looked into the future and saw like 14 million different possibilities of where they all lose except for one. Does that lead you to speculate that he did give up the time stone because that's where they live?
Yeah, I think so, because
that's where I'm going to.
I think he gave it up because Tony Stark needs to be alive in order for it to happen.
Yeah. Because he told him before he would let any of them die to save the time stone, and then when Tony's dying, he's like, here's a time stone, but he needs to live because he must know that, like, in that one instance, Tony Stark is alive and well. So he's got to stay with us.
Yeah.
Which that was a surprise when that happened.
Yeah.
So I'm like, because I think they kept kind of cutting back between Tony and Captain America. And you're like, and you're at this point, you're thinking anyone could go, and then it's Tony, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
He's the one that's going to go.
I kind of expected this, but it's still a surprise. And then it's like, oh, it's a red herring. It doesn't really happen at all.
Yeah. No, I think Tony Stark is another one of my favorite characters in this because, like, I always bring up where, like, ever since Avengers, like, he's the one that always makes the stupidest mistakes because he's so worried about this outside force that's going to come in and take over the world. So then when an outside force comes in and takes over the world, he's the first one to jump at it because he's the only one prepared for it.
And they're immediately like, they're not even there to reason with them. They're just like, get the fuck out. I don't care what you're here for. Get out.
Yeah. I know. I even love like that small scene he has with Pepper Potts where he's just like, he has like that thing on for his armor where he's just like, look, I know shit's going to go down. I want to be prepared at any time, even if we're just having a casual stroll through the park.
Yeah.
And then sure enough, that's when he look at Doctor Strange was like, we need you. It's like, all right.
Yeah, just Gwyneth Paltrow's back in the business, I guess, and doing in these too.
When when they were talking up, like, they're going to get married and have kids and all that, I was like, oh, shit. She's going to die or he's going to die.
Yeah.
But they sidestepped that, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, they had him get killed, kind of, and then he was fine.
Yep.
I loved as he's fighting, he's got his extremis armor on, which you mentioned didn't look great. There's the one scene when he first suits up, and they just, like, do a bad Photoshop of it going over his face.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, my God, like, you couldn't do better than that.
Yeah.
Like, the first Iron Man looked amazing compared to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But otherwise, his suit looked fine. And as he's fighting Thanos there, I love how as Thanos is pummeling him, bits and pieces of it are breaking off, and it's, like, reforming on him.
Trying to reform,
But, like, there's still pieces that are missing, so there isn't enough of it to completely reform. So, like, as it's covering his face, like, his leg is exposed.
Yeah.
And Thanos, like, rips his helmet off, and then it, like, reforms
Sucks
and
back
it's got it back
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
but he's losing it in other parts of his body.
Yeah.
I thought that was great.
Yeah, I like
maybe
that, too.
over a long enough timeline it'll reform, but in the heat of the battle, like, it's just, like, pulling from wherever it can to cover him.
Yeah.
And, like, get weapons
And
and
they do,
shields.
like, weird, like, architectural stuff, too, where, like, as he's fighting people, like, things will come out to, like, better support him and, like, provide, like, a better foundation. And, like, there's, like, a scene where, like, he's, like, holding something back, and then something comes out of his back that, like, holds him in place, which is, like, these plates or something that holds him, like a foundation of a building or something.
Yeah, I don't...
Kind of like
know.
Spider-Man's arms that he
I like
added to his suit.
I like the little extra
Oh, yeah,
arms
yeah,
on
yeah,
there. That
yeah.
was cool.
Which is great, because that's right out of the comic, you know,
Yeah.
spider armor. Who would have ever imagined we'd get the spider armor in
Yeah.
Spider-Man's third appearance?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I mean, everyone was kind of wondering, like, is this going to be like the Venom suit? Are we going to get his Venom suit? It wasn't, but he did get a new suit with, like, weird capabilities. So that was kind of cool to see.
I'm still not a fan of that design of the Spider-Man suit.
No, I didn't
It's
love
like-
it. I mean, it looks enough like his normal one that it's not, like, really distracting.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of looks like the Ben Reilly suit a little bit, where it's got the big spider emblem on it, but it's, I don't know, the color scheme kind of looks weird. I don't know, it's like a mixture of, like, a gold and red and blue in places. I'm just like, aesthetically, it doesn't work for me. But I like what it can do.
Yeah, and I was okay for the little that we're seeing it in this. Like, I'm glad he got a different suit for this situation, and after this movie, I doubt we'll see it again, you know?
Yeah. I like the classic red and blues.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll go back to it in the future movies.
So, as we're on Spider-Man for a little bit, there was, like, you know, remember when Spider-Man Homecoming came out and he said it was, like, 8 years after Civil War, or after Avengers or whatever.
Yeah.
And everyone was up in arms about the timeline being broken or whatever. And then in this, they said Tony Stark was like, this happened 6 years ago after Avengers or something. I could not give less of a shit about any of that
Who
stuff.
on
cares?
earth cares?
Yeah,
I had a
who gives
friend
a
at work
shit?
say, like, oh, and they finally fixed the timeline. I'm like, was the
shut-
timeline messed up? He's like, well, in this and I'm like, who gives a shit? Like, it's good enough. It's not the X-Men timeline.
Yeah.
So,
half the podcasts I listened to brought that up, and it's just like, I don't give a shit about that.
is there, like, some glaring error? Like,
No,
what?
who
It's
cares?
fine.
As long as you, I guess you know that one movie happens after another, it should be fine. Like, if you're throwing in dates anywhere, who gives a shit?
If it's a flashback, say the past.
Yeah,
this happened in the
exactly.
past.
It's like, do they know that 2 different actors have played Rhodey? And Bruce Banner? Like, is that a major complaint for you? Like, it's a movie, guys.
Yeah. So when Thanos is collecting all the stones, the last one he needs to find is a Soul Stone, and there's a lot of fan theories on what it was going to be, being like maybe Heimdall had the Soul Stone in him because he could see every soul in the universe, or the Soul Stone was in Wakanda, or there was even a late one where the last trailer came out where people thought that Steve Rogers was the Soul Stone because it looked like he had a golden glow to him when he's holding on to that
Christ.
Infinity Gauntlet, which I didn't give any shits about.
Yeah.
But I was a fan of the Heimdall like theory, but none of those
They put
were
that to
correct.
bed pretty quick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they did. But yeah, none of those were correct, and it ended up being a really, I thought, even better.
Oh, it was awesome.
What a great reveal there.
Oh
as
my God,
the
it was
Stone
so
Keeper,
good.
the
Yeah.
Stone Protector,
Yeah.
the Red Skull,
Yeah.
making his reappearance after what, like 8 years?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. It was really good. And I liked it was kind of a homage to like how Death looks with like
Yeah.
Thanos like being in love with Death, and that's how she kind of looks in the books.
Yeah.
But like it's only visually,
Mhm.
you know, and like even Red Skull doesn't have to do really anything now. It's just like it answered that question. It's like Red Skull's still alive? Kind of. Yes,
Yeah.
he's there.
Yeah.
And
He's
now
like-
you don't have to do anything else with him. He's
Yeah.
just
Yep.
there. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
good.
he's no longer worried about any type of world domination. He's accepted his fate as like this gatekeeper or
Yeah.
ferryman to
Yeah.
the Infinity Stone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I heard like a thing. There was like a review for it where they said that like when he got vaporized or whatever, like he got here and finding the Soul Stone meaning that you have to kill the person you love the most. Like that's when he gave up. Where he was like, that's just something I can't do.
Yeah.
Which is funny because like
Or he didn't
they-
love anybody.
Yeah. Or no, but they brought up where it's like it's hilarious where it's like he's not willing to do that and he's a fucking Nazi. Like one of the most evil things imaginable. So it's like you need to have like a different mindset to be able to get the Soul Stone.
Would
Yeah.
you have to have that person with you though? Like how many people other than Thanos dragging Gamora behind
Right,
him
yeah.
would have that
It was-
person that they love the most to kill right there at that moment?
It was quite a coincidence.
Yeah. A lot of things worked out in
It
his
was
favor.
also
I
a
was like-
coincidence that Gamora knew where the Soul Stone was, and she was been like one of the only ones.
Yeah, I forget how she knew. Did it ever say?
It probably did. I don't remember.
There's
But,
so much. I mean, it doesn't matter, but
Right.
like, I'm sure there was a reason why she knows.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of like an offhand comment.
yeah, it was all coincidence, but it doesn't really. It's
Yeah.
if you think about it too hard, it's just like, oh yeah, those things are quite coincidental.
Yeah.
Well.
Oh well.
But
Fun
but
movie.
I love that moment though because like Gamora spends all the time thinking Thanos is just a monster that doesn't care about anything, and then when he finds out that the one thing he cares about is her, it goes from and then it's like not have to kill you. Oh,
Yeah, and that was a really good turning point too for Thanos because you saw that he's like not just a fascist like murderous brute. He like
No.
actually has another side to him that he's like,
Yeah.
I really did like you.
like no, like the line that they put in the trailer where it's like one thinks that no one can get any pleasure from balancing the universe, but this puts a smile on my face. It's not in the movie.
Oh yeah, it wasn't.
And but I like that because you can see that he takes really no glee in doing what he's doing. He's doing it because he feels like he's actually doing the right thing. And I like that where like
for the greater good for his cause, I suppose.
The greater good.
yeah.
Would you say that Gamora or childlike Gamora is kind of like the stand-in for death for Thanos in this? Like a lot of what he's doing is picturing her and trying to please her or protect her.
I wouldn't. I don't
Not
think I
as
would
death,
say
but
that.
like as an opposite.
Yeah,
like she's
yeah.
almost like in this he's more about life. Like
Yeah.
he's about
Yeah.
preserving life
Yeah.
through death.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't love death in this.
Mhm.
It's kind of like a means to an end.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like quite a departure from like anything he does in the books.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the books, like we reviewed Infinity Gauntlet on Imperious Rex, so
Yeah.
check that out sometime. It's not as good as you remember.
They clean it up well for the movie.
But yeah, they like
But
totally
there are
change
quite
it.
a few things that are in it that we never expected would pop up in
Oh,
the movie.
yeah.
We're like, holy shit, they're doing it.
Yeah, there's like we even said like none of this will be in the movie, and like quite a bit of it was. We're like, what?
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't say. It's kind of like that in a like a weird twisted way. Like he doesn't show like.
I'm not saying like the
Undying.
relationship is the
No,
same, but
I know
it's
what you're
like
saying.
she's that type of character that is kind of like his reason for doing what he's doing. Because it's like
Yeah.
he took a very
I-
special interest in her,
I-
and then throughout the whole movie, especially at the end, he keeps picturing her at that young age. Like he's
Yeah.
kind of everything he's done is for her. Because after he does the snap, he wakes up and he sees her again as a kid.
Yeah, but I mean, he still had that train of thought even before he even met Gamora as a child, because like he was wiping out half of her race as he met her.
True. Yeah. But
So,
maybe that put a face to it.
It could.
A little bit.
It could. I mean, I don't even know what to think at this point.
No,
I don't think it's a spot on kind of a thing, but I like that he had an emotional attachment to actually someone.
Mm-hmm.
No, I love Thanos in this because he's the one that actually seems dedicated to his cause. Like, even when other people say that they're willing to do anything it takes to defend, like, the universe, they still cave and let Thanos win.
Yeah, even the heroes are fallible because they don't always follow through.
Yeah,
but
Thanos is the one that's even when it comes down to like he's giving up, he actually is giving up and sacrificing things. He's willing to sacrifice things above when like the heroes we're supposed to be rooting for actually are like kind of stepping aside and letting Thanos do what he wants. Because I don't think Thanos really does anything out of cruelty in this. Like, he actually, even when people actually step up and are like give him what he wants, he kind of leaves him alone.
A little bit. I mean, he still is pretty murderous and
murderous to his extent though. Like he
murderous to the extent he wants to eliminate half the life from the
but
universe.
Murderous to the extent that it's to what he wants to do in the end. Like he could have easily killed Drax and
that was strange that he didn't.
Yeah, but because they didn't really get in his way, they were gonna come in and do something, but he just kind of pushed him aside.
Right.
Like, it's not unless you actually are like full-fledged in your face about to kill him that he actually does kill you.
So if Thanos isn't horrible and what he's doing is because it needs to be done, once he gets all the Infinity Gems, why doesn't he just, like, make the universe so that the resources aren't going to get run out?
That's something that a lot of people brought up, and it's just like, if you think about it too hard,
he says in it that the universe does not have indefinite resources. Like, there is going to be an end to resources. He's just prolonging it.
But if you have the Infinity Gauntlet, you can do anything.
But you can't make matter. You can destroy, but you can't create. With the
Infinity Gauntlet, you can make matter.
Do they say in this you can create matter?
If any of the source material is to be believed, you can do anything with the Infinity Gauntlet.
You can't make... He doesn't make things. He can make people see things, but he can't make it.
Well, all right. Agree to disagree.
But that's... I mean, that's one of the things, like, do you think in this universe it's only, like, a weapon? Or does everyone in this universe only think that it's a weapon right now, and then maybe in the next one they realize, like, oh wait, we could use this for good.
That's what, you know. That's what I'm thinking too, because
and that's how we fix all this. Like, he only sees it as like a weapon, whereas like someone who's not a murderous titan would have a completely different way of looking at this. And like, you could have just done this.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Well, I do like killing people, though.
Well, then fuck you. We're going to fight you again. Yeah.
Because, like, they never even attempt to talk him out of it or come up with, like, a different way. I think they just see, like, he's crazy and he has this, like, atom bomb on him. And, like, that's it. There's no reasoning with him or saying, like, you should do this or that. It's like, we got to get this away from him and destroy it.
Right.
Because no good can come from the gauntlet.
Yeah, because I like it because, like, when he does destroy half the universe, it also destroys the gauntlet, where it's like destruction creates destruction.
Yeah.
So, I didn't catch that right away, but when I heard it, I was like, oh, yeah, it was, like, smoking. It was, like, wrecked after that. So, like, is the gauntlet done?
Well,
now?
It's still there. Like, all the stones were in it from what I could remember.
Yeah.
I didn't see it at the very end.
I don't know where it was left at. Like
I think he still had it when he went into his portal or whatever.
Yeah.
His rice patty. And he had the scarecrow wearing his
Was there a scarecrow?
I think so.
I fucking missed it then. I need to see this movie again.
Yeah, I do too.
So like that moment was taken like straight out of actually Infinity Gauntlet, where like we thought nothing would come of it.
Never happen.
And this movie ends with Thanos in like becoming like a little humble farmer in a little hut on a rice paddy, and at
Goes
the end
down to Potter Farm and watches the sunset.
yeah, in Infinity Gauntlet he becomes a farmer at the end. He's totally content, and it's like a weird kind of like okay kind of ending.
Yeah, like I guess we won't punish him.
Right, even though he's terribly murderous and whatever, we'll just let him be over here in a little.
Does he kill half the universe in Infinity Gauntlet too?
Yeah, just like he does in this.
But they
wow.
do fix it in Infinity Gauntlet, and then he goes on his way.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
but like they also torture Nebula in both the book and this movie. They eliminate half the universe. There's another similarity too. Captain America has like a little bit of a showdown with them.
Yep. Vision gets his heart ripped out, kind of like how he gets a stone ripped out.
They ripped. Yeah, I loved that whole thing where like they go through that whole thing of Scarlet Witch,
it's
like
emotional
killing.
thing.
Yeah, like it's a big emotional thing where Scarlet Witch is like destroying the love of her life, and then he turns back time just so they could throw her aside and have her witness him killing him, where he's just like puts his big fucking
gives mitts.
Rips, instead of just taking the stone out, just rips out his entire forehead.
Yeah, pretty good.
Which
there was some gruesome ass kills in this for being PG-13.
Oh yeah, I thought so too.
Like Loki dying was pretty fucking gruesome.
Yeah,
gruesome, and Vision dying was like pretty scarring, where it's like you see him go completely pale as he just rips his brain out pretty much.
So do you think the remaining Wakandans are gonna revive him? Because they're trying to separate the stone from him, right? Or were they copying his neural pattern? You thinking he'll come back without the stone, but with the montage of Banner, Stark, Jarvis, and all those artificial intelligences?
I think so. Because they were trying to remove the stone from him just to see if like all the other stuff he was created would still like be intact or whatever, and they're trying to rush through it, but it never really finished the whole process.
Yeah,
but I think, I
can see him
Suri?
coming back.
Is that her name?
Yeah,
Shuri.
Shuri.
No, I can't remember what it is. They both sound right.
Siri.
T'Challa's sister.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she'll piece them back together.
Make him an upgrade.
Or at least the same, but
just throw some vibranium in him, it'll work.
But I could see
the MacGuffin of the vibranium.
I could see him coming back, but being a little different, and then like him and Scarlet Witch's relationship will be strained, or it won't be the same as it was before. So like maybe he's missing a spark of something that.
I'm actually hoping that is a plot point, because I didn't give a shit about it much at first, but like now I'm wondering like if he does come back.
And then we get the Tom King adaptation of Vision.
It's a Romeo and Juliet type thing where like she feels the loss of him and now she's gone, then he feels the loss of her.
Well, I was thinking
going to House of M.
Once like he's back, like she still longs for him, but now he's not the same. Like he's just like more robotic, and he's just like acknowledges that she's there but has no feelings anymore.
But
because the Soul Stone is out of him.
I think we're ignoring the fact that she's gone.
Oh,
that's very true. As more than half of all the Avengers
more than half
are gone.
Yeah. All of the ones who have just recently had a big movie are gone.
But I like that all the original Avengers are still alive, though.
Right.
Yeah, the core 3.
And I like that they're gonna bookend like Avengers with the original Avengers, possibly trying to fix what happened in this one.
Yeah.
I think that's a really cool idea.
I really liked that, and I didn't know what to expect when who to disappear and whatever. But as soon as Black Panther went, I'm like, holy shit!
Yeah, that was a cool one. That was a cool one where it's like it looked like whoever he was. One of the Dora Milaje or whatever. We're about to like go away, and he's like, "Here, I'll help you," and then he disappears. And you're like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, and like, granted, like by the time this movie was in production, like they didn't know Black Panther was going to be such a huge hit.
Yeah,
but it was. And when he disappeared, my theater had an audible like, "What?" Like, holy shit! And like the best one that actually brought like me to well up was when Spider-Man was going.
Perfect. So good.
Tom Holland is really good.
So good.
At, like, being pathetically young and, like, helpless.
Yeah.
Because even in Spider-Man Homecoming, when he was trapped under that rubble, and he just remember that he's just a kid now being crushed to death, you're like, holy shit, like,
somebody help that poor boy.
I don't want to watch this anymore. And it was the same here when, like, he's dying and he's like, Mr. Stark, I don't feel good, or whatever. And you're like, holy fuck.
I don't want to go. I don't want to go.
Iron Man, do something.
Yeah.
And they all turn to leaves and they're all gone.
Yeah.
Me and JT had a good back and forth earlier this week about people turning into leaves. Just about a local police chief that hates it when you blow lawn clippings into the street.
Oh, good. Well, that's what we'll call it now.
When is the proper amount of time before you rake up your loved ones? Like, what's the proper time between grieving and just raking it up? Because half the happy population is gone, so that's a lot of, like, dead body leaves.
And I said, well, as long as the police chief doesn't catch him, throw him in the street, I think you should be okay.
Dude's enough of a dick that he'd probably give you a ticket for your aunt and uncle being in the street.
Probably.
He'd be like, look, they just died yesterday, too. Just like, nah, sorry.
Yeah.
Blocking the highway.
You have to bag those.
You got to bag.
Bag them up. Bag and tag them.
You got a
bag, too.
Yeah. Got a black bag.
I don't know if I completely pieced together that the remaining ones are all of the original people from the first Avengers.
There's some different ones. Like,
there's Rocket and
Rocket's
War Machine.
still there. War Machine.
But Hulk, the big three, Iron Man, Cap, Tony, Black Widow, and Hawkeye, who we haven't seen yet. But we're assuming
the big
he's still
theory
out
is
there.
that Hawkeye's family's gonna all be gone, and then that's the reason why he jumps in and.
Yep, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think Black Widow. Black Widow's still there.
Is Thor still there?
Yeah.
Yep, Thor's still there.
Okay.
Yeah, so it is a core
I can't
team.
remember who's
So
left.
all the originals are still around, and plus Michonne from the Mador Milaje is still in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rocket's still there. Nebula's still there.
Oh yeah, she's with Tony.
Yeah.
I kept thinking he was stranded there by himself, but she's there with him.
Yeah.
Which I think I've heard something like the book after Infinity War, like Nebula plays a really big part.
I've never read it, and I don't even have the urge to read it.
No.
Yeah.
She
I
plays
heard
a
it
pretty
sucks.
big part in Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
But
only for like an issue.
The end, yeah.
Yeah. But
her character leaves no impression on me right now. Like, if she does something in this, great. Because otherwise, like, I could take her, leave her.
I hope she has, like, a big grand thing that happens. Maybe she, like, helps Tony, like, maybe Tony picks parts off of her to, like, become complete again and, like, zips off that Titan or whatever.
But no, I like the idea of Nebula being a big part because she always struck me as, like Thanos kind of saw her as insignificant, like, to the point where he's just building her into pretty much a robot of her former self, to, like, where if she could, like, actually come out on top and actually show that she is probably even more significant than he is, like, that would be a really cool bookend to it all.
A cool visual was while she's, like, strung up, and you see her from, like, right face on.
Oh, yeah.
And then they, like, pan around her, and you see that she's been dissected when you get to the side of her, and it's like, oh, my God, that's horrible.
Which is very similar to, like, what happens to her in the book, too, where she's, like, in this weird state of living death through the whole thing.
She's, like...
But more mechanical
zombie,
in this
but
one.
Like Thanos revives her to be alive, but still in like a zombie-ish form.
Yeah.
And so she's just the whole book. She's just wandering around like like that guy that gets blasted with acid after RoboCop.
Very much like that. And then she just wanders over and grabs the Infinity Gauntlet.
She gets it so easily because, like, in the book, right? So Thanos becomes so powerful, he's like, I'm gonna become one with the universe, and so he does, and sits there vacant
Just
in a
leaves
chair,
his body.
and his spirit is like ascended into the universe, while the gauntlet is just there unattended, and she just goes over and takes it off and puts it on, and she becomes
shambles
all
over to him, and no one notices.
No
her.
one even stops her. Like, there's people that can just be like, maybe you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Silver Surfer's making his third trip around to go for another grab.
I've heard that's like the big theory for like the next one is that Nebula's the one that actually gets the gauntlet off of Thanos.
Yeah,
and
I need her to do something.
Yeah.
I don't know if I need her to do something like that though. Like she's not an interesting enough character to have that weighty of a role.
I think she's really interesting actually. Like
I just feel like she hasn't gotten enough time to do something of that magnitude.
Like, in Guardians 2, I thought her back and forth with Gamora was really good.
Yeah.
But I need something more like that, too, to make me feel like I need to get behind her, and then she does something that totally pays off.
Yeah, if it's her, it's going to bring to mind another Russo brothers Arrested Development moment with her?
Egg?
Her? Really? Her?
But no, I think out of anyone, Nebula is the one that has the biggest
beef with it.
Yeah. Because like she's pretty much been like broken down to almost nothing now, where it's like she's pretty much almost half robot, and she needs to get her humanity back by actually showing Thanos that she's way more powerful than he ever thought she was.
I think we'd need to see some of that, though. Like, we haven't seen her as a person. You know, like, in order to feel anything for her, we have to see her with her humanity. Because right now, she's just been, like, a robotic bitch. You know, she's hateful. She has very little personality. She's not likable. Like, we kind of have to see her back when things were better. Like, maybe some flashbacks to her and Gamora fighting and
cool.
all that. Like, then I could
cool.
get a little more invested. But right now, like, I don't like her. Like, I don't want her to have that bigger role of that.
I'm not a huge fan either.
Like, to me, she's pretty disposable. She can have a moment where maybe she, like, does something. Maybe she, like, distracts Thanos. But I can't see her righting all the wrongs of what he's done.
Right. I can see that. Well, so what, we're kind of on the subject now, but what do you guys think is possible in part 2 of this? Or whatever they're going to call it.
Anything.
Yeah, I'm
anything. Yeah, like I love that I've heard so many theories about what was going to happen in this, and they were all debunked. Like none of them
were
really
wrong. None of them were ever
none
right.
None of them like it felt like they were listening to what people were saying, and it's like okay, sure. Yeah, that's going to happen. See. Yeah, go ahead and say that.
Yeah. I'm looking forward for everyone to get there, like to have like a giant man moment, and like a Hulk comes back out, and Hawkeye to come back with his slick new haircut and do something fucking wicked awesome. All of his arrows has that same haircut or something.
They all have boxing gloves on them.
Yeah. Oh my god, that'd be so sweet. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that line, guys. That line of everybody, just like a boom, boom. I don't think you're
gonna get that line, Troy. But
I am looking. You gotta get the line.
I'm looking forward to like actually bookending this phase of the Avengers up to where it's like we're back to the originals and we have to depend on them now to save everyone.
Yeah,
I like the idea of that. Maybe like some side characters here and there, like the ones that are still around, but I like the idea of like now we're back to the core group and we're the ones that have to save humanity. Sure. I love the idea of that.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be the core group, but then they're going all in on Captain Marvel. Right. So we're going to get Captain Marvel next March.
Yeah.
And then she's going to play a big role in this. So I don't see the movie doing bad, but hopefully people take to her because it seems like she's going to be very important to this.
Yeah.
And probably important to the Marvel Universe going forward.
Because old motherfucker Jackson.
He's out. Yeah. Made a call to old Captain Marvel there at the post-credit sequence. Which I was telling Dave that I loved hearing all of the like the boyfriends and husbands and everybody at the end of the movie explain to their girlfriends or wives what that meant, because I caught a few of them, and one of them, for example, was like the wife was like, so what does that thing mean? What did Nick Fury do there? And he's like, oh, he called the Avengers.
Yes, I heard that. I heard like a review where like someone was like, oh, they're calling the Avengers. Like,
motherfucker, where have you been?
Just like a 3-hour piss break.
It's just like, what are you doing? Anyway, but like, I guess Feige has said like she's pretty much the Superman of the Marvel universe at one point. So they're really putting. This is the one point where they put like all their eggs in kind of one basket to make sure this pays off.
Yeah, maybe they should have went with Black Panther.
Well, in hindsight, yes, they should have. But yeah, I really hope it's good.
Yeah,
and hope it pays off. I have no doubt that it'll be fine.
When has there been a bad one?
Yeah.
And
I love Brie Larson, so I'd love to see what she does with this.
And every time Marvel's done something new or different, it's paid off in spades.
Sure.
You know, like Guardians.
Well, Doctor Strange,
Thor, but that one felt very samey. You know?
It did. Yeah.
But you think like Guardians or Thor, Black Panther, you know, those were the standout ones.
Yeah.
Where like Ant-Man, Doctor Strange, they were fine.
Yeah.
But they felt more like Phase 1 movies.
Yeah.
So hopefully this one follows a little bit more in the suit of the good group, Panther and Guardians and all that.
Right on. So, I just have a few more questions here on my stuff. So do you think that I'm pretty sure Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will use this as like a jumping off point to do something kind of cool.
I almost kind of want to go back into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to see how they treat this.
Yeah.
Because there's no way, because they always bring up like small things that happen in the movies, but this is like a big thing that happens to everyone.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, what the fuck are they going to do with this?
They're going to have their whole cast, you know? Like,
just
so happens that all of them were in the 50% that stayed.
This is how they cancel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
They're all gone.
They're all gone.
But also, do you think, because the Netflix Marvel stuff is kind of weird and kind of separate, even though they make reference to it?
I feel like they won't address it at all. Do they have plans for anything after Daredevil season 3, or is that like the cutoff before it moves to Disney's streaming platform?
They have a Luke Cage.
They've got Luke Cage, and I think they have another. They
talked about it.
Season.
They talked about it on the Jessica Jones season.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Are they still under Netflix for all those? When is Disney's thing launch? Like 2 years?
I think it's supposed to launch this year, late, or next year.
I think it's late this year.
Shit.
But like
Netflix is keeping them still?
Like, Netflix still has their series.
Has the license to do it.
Okay, so Disney's going to try to phase out all of those shows because they don't own them.
Yeah.
Just how they do all that.
But I mean, it would be kind of like a cool, like Daredevil season 3, I think is pretty much in the bag already, I think, because I think that's coming out this year. I could be completely wrong, but I don't know.
It seems like they have the storyline down, though. From what I heard of how Defenders ended, I think, it's referencing a pretty famous Daredevil storyline.
Yeah. But I would like them, because they make vague enough references that it's still, like, in kind of continuity that it would be hard-pressed to be like, oh yeah, like, that didn't happen. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. That would be all they would talk about.
Yeah.
Like, remember when when all of our loved ones died?
Hey, remember when Iron Fist disappeared and we were all happy about it?
Yeah. What a weirdo.
You know what would make a cool show to like pop up around this time? Do like a Marvel Frontline, where it's like a reporter-centric thing. You could even have some of the reporters from the Netflix shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the one that Tony Stark banged all the time.
Yeah. Just make it like completely up to speed with the movies and have them just kind of talking about like what's been going on.
Yeah.
While
at
still
like the
covering
ground level. Yeah. That'd
just
be
start a
sweet.
Fox News, but it's fake news from Marvel.
And have it be Jameson. Have Jameson be one of the main characters.
Oh my god, that'd be great.
Yes. Do a Daily Bugle show.
Need more pictures of Spider-Man.
I love that. I love those books. But
Get J.K. Simmons in there and just have him lead the show.
That would be great.
Our
I
top
would
story
watch
tonight:
that.
not enough pictures of Spider-Man.
Menace.
He's a menace.
The last thing I got before we go into full grades is that there is a website out there. www.didthanoskillme.me.
Ooh.
Or it's didthanoskill.me.
Yeah.
So it's just a yes or a no whenever you go there.
I already went there, and it'll tell you, gauging by your IP address, if you made it or not.
Ooh.
If you were the half that made it. I already am one of the few that did not make it.
Oh, Troy.
Not a few, 50%.
Is that why you're a pile of ash right now?
That's right. I'm
Those
just
leaves out onto
Son
the
of a
curb.
bitch!
an eyeball and a mouth on these pile of
God
leaves.
damn it, you're like the Geico money.
Yeah. So, JT, I'll let you finish out the show because I'm dead.
All right, fair enough.
But yeah, everyone should go to that because it's just a small little thing and it's fun. And if you refresh the page, it doesn't forget. Like, you're always going to be alive or dead.
Man,
so it's pretty
no
great.
tricking that Thanos.
Yeah. So go to www.thanoskill.me.
I'm gonna check on my phone and my computer, and then I'll pick the one that I want.
Very good. Pick the one that you want. I hope they say you're both dead, bitch.
Fuck! God damn it!
But yeah, anyway, that's it. That's pretty much all I got for Infinity
Yeah.
War. We pretty much talked it to death.
I think we did it.
We did it. So what would you grade this movie?
Dave.
A+. I have no faults in it. I don't know if it's my favorite Marvel movie, because I tend to like some of the more smaller scale ones, and like Iron Man holds a special place in my heart. But it may have overtaken Civil War for just like the most like bombastic, like this
ambitious.
is what, this is what we've been building to. You know, it's like this is a comic book come to life. So yeah, I have no faults in it.
Yeah.
I can see people not loving it if this isn't their thing, but if you've been along for the ride, this is the payout.
Yeah, that's true. I'm going to give it an A just so I have the hopes that Avengers 4 is an A+ and blows me out of the water. Because this is like the Empire Strikes Back or the Temple of Doom, where it like dips a little bit to give you like a mild depression, and then come back up at the end, and it totally ramps up, and it's the best thing you've ever seen at the end.
Not to cut in, but for the longest time, like we always talk about how trilogies can never stick the third movie, you know? That's always where it falters.
Yeah.
So, like, even Dark Knight, which is great, you know, the third one is by far the worst. But Marvel not only has done the third Thor movie as being the best,
Yeah.
3 great Captain Americas, with arguably the third one the best.
Yeah.
And now the third Avengers movie, which is the best.
So you do a
Like,
shitty fourth one?
yeah, I don't know. They've got like a rule of thirds going on where like they have cracked the code where their third movie is like the best one.
Yeah.
And I almost say, like, yeah, this is probably like their Empire Strikes Back, but this is like Empire Strikes Back times 1,000, where it's like Empire Strikes Back was like, okay, so Darth Vader's your dad and Han Solo's in Kryptonite. This one's like, we killed half of everyone.
And the Empire fucked your mom. And Boba Fett shot your dog.
This is like if Darth Vader and Boba Fett took turns raping and killing half of everybody. But no, I'm on the boat that this is definitely probably, for me, by far, probably the best Marvel film made yet. Because it's 2.5 hours, but it's the leanest 2.5 hours I've ever seen about any movie, where, like, there's so many filmmakers.
It's just nonstop.
Like, there's so many filmmakers that I see where they'll make a 2.5 or 3 hour long movie where it's like, there's definitely some down moments in there where it's like, I need to make a 3 hour long movie or a 2.5 hour long movie because that's an epic. But this felt like they needed that 2.5 hours because everything made sense and everything came together based off of like these 10 movies in the past. And it was done in a way where I never felt like they were wasting time. And I think if you're going to make that long of a movie and make me feel that way, you're going to be a fucking awesome movie.
Yeah.
So I totally, this is probably going to be up there as one of my favorite movies of the year by far.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
For you just gave me like this look where it's like, the fuck?
I don't even got to do it at the end of the year. It's just like, this is going to be the first one. Okay?
The fuck, man? Like, why even give me this shit?
Plus, all the characters were just spot on. Like, everyone was exactly how you've come to expect them to be and behave and interact, even though they haven't interacted before. It's like, yes, that is what Star-Lord would say to Tony Stark.
And one of my complaints from the Avengers was like, I felt like they didn't have like a moment where it felt like they were actually strategizing and like actually using their powers to an extent where like, oh yeah, of course he would do this because this guy would do this. Like in this, it was like, especially that fight on Titan with like those heroes against Thanos. Like it felt like, yeah, of course Star-Lord would use Doctor Strange's weird ass shit to like jump across and then jump in a portal and be like, boom, middle fingers, jump to the portal. Like it was like perfect. Like everyone kind of worked together in a way where like you could see the strategy they were implementing to actually get things done, to the point where like they actually did almost fucking beat Thanos on Titan.
But Star-Lord fucked it up.
Oh,
Star-Lord's a piece of shit. That's,
to it.
Oh, he did.
But even that, like, I love that because that's totally a thing Star-Lord would do.
Yeah,
Like
totally
he would
in
not
character.
think. Yeah, he would not think about the implications of him actually doing that. He would live in the moment, which he always does.
Yeah. God, so good.
Yep.
Great movie. Well, did you end up grading it? It's
A. Can I give it 2 pluses to this motherfucker? Because I fucking love this movie. A++, bitch.
Oh God. Okay.
Has anyone seen it more than once yet?
I want to.
Yeah, I do
I
too.
haven't. Yeah. Not
I'm
yet.
still reeling, but I'm gonna try to get to it again sometime here. I'm sure it'll be in theaters all summer. So
I know.
Yeah.
I'm tempted because Chelsea doesn't get out of work until like 4 hours after I'm done. So I just want to be like, can I take a 1-year-old to this movie?
I'm watching my kid tomorrow. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. I'll go with you. We'll just go back and forth like, hey.
just shake them for 3 hours.
I won't go back, Dad. Here you go. All right.
All right, so that's great. Well, hey, thanks for listening. If you want to join us on social media, do so at Review Pod on Twitter. If you happen to be a Facebooker, do that Review Pod on Facebook. You can find us at our host site at reviewpod.podbean.com, but you don't have to listen to just there. We are also on a multitude of platforms such as Google Podcasts, Alexa devices, Stitcher, and Apple Podcasts. If you happen to be an Apple user, rate and review us there, because if you like the show, that helps other people find the show as well. If you want to write in, do so at reviewreviewpod@gmail.com. Thanks for listening again. We'll see you next time.
And we're off. Oh, snap.
Hey, welcome to the Review, a show where two small-town dudes give your big, dumb opinions. I am Troy to the Max Extreme.
I am JD3K.
And we are doing a flashback episode about a little movie. You might have heard of it. A little movie called Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah. We talked about its end. Let's
That's
talk
right.
about the beginning.
That's
or
right.
the beginning of the end. The end is the beginning is the end.
Smashing
Pumpkins.
Billy Corrigan.
Second time we've referenced that in
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, so last week we went all on about Avengers Endgame is the hottest thing out.
Yes.
Probably still is the hottest thing out.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to go back and see what started that little spark of Endgame. And
Where were the donuts made?
Yeah, a little... Well, it's like a part one of the 2-part series.
Yeah. We did the part 2 before. Now we're doing the part 1.
That's right.
Yeah. You saw us take a number 2. Now we're doing the number 1.
Number 1. So, what do we got in store for this episode, JT?
Well, we got a special guest, of course.
Oh, of
Old
course.
GHD jumping in.
Jumping in.
Surprised he didn't jump in here for our last Endgame.
That's very true. We got a lot of takers.
But so yeah, so you get his opinion. We get a lot of possible theories about Endgame. See what we thought about that. Were we correct?
Find out.
Find out. But yeah, all around fun. All of it just shooting the shit, trying to figure out what's all it about.
Sweet freaking deal, man. Can't wait to revisit this episode.
Oh yeah.
So hopefully everyone enjoys, and then we will see you at the end of Infinity War.
Yeah. See us on Thursday for our review of our review turn random movies. Winner for 5.
That's right.
Platoon.
Platoon. But before that, enjoy our review on Infinity War.
Yeah.
Follow up to our Endgame review in this flashback episode.
Starting right now.